Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. I hope y'all enjoyed the Jared, but right now let's talk about Taigam, the Demir Taigam. He's 3/4, skips your draw. You know what? That's fine. Who needs a draw step? But at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top three cards. Uh, you get one, you dump the rest. Then you can exile X cards from your graveyard. Yeah, that may be useful. Doubt it for us. Anyway, for this deck. So the first thing I had to do here was, at the beginning of your upkeep, you're going to get to essentially brainstorm, but you don't get to put them on top. You just, pick one and ditch the other two. So naturally, I wanted to have double upkeeps so that I could do this more than once a turn. And the only thing better than double upkeeps is when you copy enchantment that Joker and you have triple upkeeps. So, we got a little bit of mana fixing in the 4 rocks that we've got. Now, what I did here was we're going to be filling a graveyard. We are legit going to be filling a graveyard. So we might as well be filling a graveyard with creatures. So Mortal Kombat may net you 1 game out of 20. But when you get that 1 game out of 20, it feels amazing. So I was like, well, all right, so I'm playing heavy creatures. Well, the problem is when you play heavy creatures, you don't have a lot of room for anything else because you can't get to what you want. So I decided to go with cycling creatures. Now, I'm not going to go through all these. I believe there are 29 cycling creatures. So that's more than enough to get you to your Mortal Kombat shtick. Now, Fluctuator is an amazing card. I don't have enough. It is on the reserve list. All the Fluctuators I have are in decks. I am totally looking for more. So as soon as I find a Fluctuator, it'll definitely go in here. Now, we could also do the Living End and or Living Death. I think I may have like 1 or 2 of those in here. I'm not sure. That's it for the cycling creatures. The whole point in those is just to burn through them and to get creatures in your graveyard to fire off your Mortal Kombat. Even though Mortal Kombat is an enchantment, it does have to sit out there a whole turn. Maybe, just maybe, your counter spell is enough to protect it or whatever. Now, cards that obviously go with those cycling ones, I do have New Perspectives in there because, it's amazing. And because I have New Perspectives, there is a few other cards that have cycling that I've put in here, but Drakehaven, because why not? Especially if you're cycling for the free. If you pay the 1, essentially you're cycling for 1, and you get a 2/2 flyer out of the deal. The Vizier cares if you cycle, so. And then Shadow of the Grave. Whoa, what a pizza. Now, Mortivore is, of course, as big as all your dead guys that you've cycled away. Similar for Night Howler and the Bone Hoarder. Now, Diabolic Tutor is probably going to go get you New Perspectives. I mean, let's just be honest. It's probably going to go get you. Demir Houseguard is going to go get you Diabolic Tutor. And it's another creature in the yard. Drift of Phantasms is going to go get you, wow, one of many cards. I mean, y'all have seen the ones that are already in there, but I'm also playing with Finkel because I can, and it is some card draw. And more importantly, because I can, and it's Finkel. Um, Flesh Bag Marauder. Royal Assassin is 3 mana. Grizzly Survivor. And the Grave Blade. Now this guy's really, really good in this deck, since we are worried about just absolutely filling up ye old yard. Now, the rest of a lot of this, well, Book of the Dead is, I mean, might as well get all your stuff back, but Book of the Dead does work exactly opposite to our Mortal Kombat plan, but generally one of the two is going to get shut down. So I do have a lot of just, I don't know, like, because I felt like I needed some fat or some something to maybe fill up their yard so I get more, or play stuff from their yard. I mean, I don't know. I felt like I needed Rexel here. Okay, Tide Hollow Strix protects you from a lot of stuff. Dragons and Angels have a problem with the Strix. I'm running a few removals in the Doom Blade and the Tragic Slip and the Crux of Fate. Now, I have never cast this card. I always look for those cards that I've never cast, which is getting increasingly harder and harder to do as long as I've been playing, and as many weird cards as I like to put in decks. But I have never cast Soulquake. 7 mana, return all creatures in play and all creatures to their owner's hands. Now, if your Mortal Kombat shtick gets blown up, then this is the ultimate bounce of God. If you got your new perspectives online, you can cycle all those cards again. We may, we may just need a lab man in this deck, because if you get your Soulquake off, you might could. But I'm pretty sure I already did that with Progenitus, so I guess I don't. You cycle away till you get the lab man and whatever. Anyway, Notion Thief. This right here makes enemies fast. Now, granted, he is totally killable. He has the smallest toughness that can exist on the battlefield, anyway. But it's mighty nice, and maybe you'll get lucky, and somebody will play a Howling Mine, and you'll get some value off of this guy before he dies. Ancient Excavation. Basic land cycling. And the fact that you get to draw and discard if you don't basic land cycle it. So, I mean, either use is useful to this deck. And our last card here, I'm going to try out, because 7 mana for 7 cards. Now, obviously in Sealed, this is a bomb. But I believe it's a bomb in EDH. There's not, what was it, years ago, I believe there was a thing going out around, like 10 years ago. How much would you cost a card that just said draw 7 cards? And apparently 7 mana is the right. It does seem kind of cheap with 0 drawback. Yeah, it's a sorcery, not an instant, so you're not going to, that would be a little much. Haha, surprise, I'm drawing a new hand. But it also, in this deck, if you play out your stuff and you draw your new perspectives, and, if you're just top decking it and you draw your 3 cards from your new perspectives and you still don't have enough to get it, if this is one of them, hey, you're in pretty good shape. But I like the overwhelming intellect. I really do. 7 mana, 7 cards. In our format, that is not a big deal. 7 mana is not Nothing. Well, anyway, that's what I've got. I do appreciate you watching. That's one Taigam down, and I think that's another one of that Commander series down. I'm trying to whittle down the decks I've started and not finished. My gosh, look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 mono white decks I haven't finished. Goodness. Anyway, I think we might have a white Christmas this year with all knock out some of these white decks. Anyway, I do appreciate you watching. Y'all let me know what you think. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.